There is growing anger within India over Bangladeshi threat to the Siliguri Corridor and Indian defense and security. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has now hit back at Bangladesh with a stern warning: mess with India's Siliguri Corridor and we'll squeeze your two chicken necks. A Chinese airbase near the Siliguri Corridor in Bangladesh's Lalmur Nirhat is a serious geopolitical concern, and now reports emerge of Bangladesh's non-elected interim government leader Yunus's possible resignation after a fallout with the Bangladesh military chief. But will the fallout with India also play a part in Yunus's possible ouster? Yunus has managed to strain Bangladesh's ties with its biggest neighbor and supporter, India. Now, patience within Bharat is running out. If India could beat Pakistan's Chinese air defenses and neutralize 9 terror camps, and then hit 11 Pakistani air bases all across the country, then does Bangladesh stand any chance if it threatens India's sovereignty? Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has reminded Bangladesh of its own geographic vulnerabilities, stating that India could retaliate by targeting Bangladesh's two chicken necks if Dhaka attempts to exploit India's strategic Siliguri corridor. Sarma's statement follows weeks of rising friction between New Delhi and Dhaka, which worsened after Bangladesh's interim leader Muhammad Yunus made provocative comments and a landlocked jibe aimed at India's 7 sister northeastern states during his diplomatic outreach to China. He has now invited both China and Pakistan to modernize the World War II era Lalmur Nirhat airbase, barely 15 kilometers from India's border and just about 100 kilometers from the chicken's neck. This has invited India's wrath, and the Modi government has slapped a $700 million trade ban on Bangladesh, threatening its small economy. India's Siliguri Corridor, often called the Chicken's Neck, is a narrow 22-kilometer stretch of land in northern West Bengal that connects the rest of India to its 7 northeastern states. Sandwiched between Nepal, Bangladesh and Bhutan, the corridor is a vital but vulnerable supply line. Any disruption in this region could potentially disconnect it and the northeast from the Indian mainland. And this is why the Siliguri Corridor is viewed as India's strategic Achilles heel, and any threat to it, direct or indirect, will trigger a strong reaction from New Delhi. Responding to recent provocations, Himanta Biswa Sarma stated, quote, "We have one chicken's neck, but Bangladesh has 2 chicken necks. If Bangladesh attacks our chicken neck, then we can attack both the chicken necks of Bangladesh. The one in Meghalaya and the one connecting Chittagong port in Bangladesh is even thinner than India's chicken's neck and is located just a stone's throw away," unquote. Sarma's comments follow soon after reports that China is helping Bangladesh revive the World War II era Lalmur Nirhat airbase only 100 kilometers from the Siliguri corridor, raising serious alarm bells in Indian security circles. Drama truly unfolded in Dhaka this week as National Citizen Party leaders rushed to Jamuna, the official residence of Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, in a desperate bid to convince him not to resign. Frustrated and cornered, the 84-year-old interim non-elected chief advisor reportedly told his cabinet, quote, "What's the point of being in charge if I can't function?" unquote. So what's pushing Yunus to the edge? Has the Bangladesh military clipped his wings? The tensions have been mounting, with major political parties stepping up protests and demanding a fixed election date. Yunus is caught in a storm. International rights watchdog has also criticized Yunus for banning the Awami League, the party of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the party credited for Bangladesh's independence from Pakistan. Meanwhile, the other major big party, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party or the BNP, stands to gain. But even they are now pushing Yunus for elections and are accusing the interim government of dragging its feet on electoral promises. Even Yunus's once strong ties with the military are now fraying, especially after clashing with Army Chief General Waqaruzzaman over election timeline and national security concerns. Worse still, Yunus is facing internal dissent now. Insiders suggest Yunus's resignation threat could be more than frustration. It might be a political play to rally public support against this military pressure. Social media buzz hints at large-scale protests brewing once again in Bangladesh. With Bangladesh already reeling from economic turmoil after Sheikh Hasina's ouster and strained international ties, Yunus's potential exit could plunge the nation into deeper instability and economic crisis. Will he really walk away, or is this the start of a larger showdown? The next few days could redefine Bangladesh's future. Now, in his warning, Assam Chief Minister Sarma referred to two critical land corridors within Bangladesh that are essential to the country's economy and territorial connectivity. Let's see which they are. First, the Chittagong Corridor. This corridor connects Bangladesh's central regions to Chittagong, its most vital port city, which handles over 90% of its trade. The corridor runs close to Sirbhum in southern Tripura state of India and is only about 30 kilometers wide. If this route is blocked or disrupted, Bangladesh could effectively be cut off from its own eastern seaboard. As defense analyst Yusuf Unjawala noted, quote, "The shortest distance between the landlocked Indian state of Tripura and the sea is 30 kilometers through Bangladesh. It's also the narrowest distance between the larger mass of Bangladesh and Chittagong," unquote. Second, the Rangpur Corridor, located between Meghalaya's southwest Garo Hills and West Bengal's South Dinjapur. This corridor runs through Bangladesh's Rangpur division. The stretch is approximately 90 kilometers wide but militarily fragile. Assam Chief Minister Sarma warned, quote, "Their chicken's neck near Meghalaya to Chittagong port is much smaller than ours and can be choked by throwing even a ring," unquote. China's involvement in upgrading the Lalmonirhat airbase so close to India's vulnerable Siliguri Corridor has only worsened the situation. Many Indian analysts believe China is using Dhaka to gain intelligence and strategic access near India's northeastern gateway. Author and geostrategist Brahma Chileni warned, quote, "An active Lalmonirhat airbase would greatly enhance China's ability to conduct aerial surveillance and reconnaissance on Indian military installations, troop movements and critical infrastructure, including in India's Siliguri Corridor," unquote. So can India allow Bangladesh to give China such a stronghold in India's backyard? In recent months, New Delhi has grown wary of Dhaka's evolving foreign policy. Key developments include India restricted access through land ports and land corridors of Bangladeshi imports such as garments and processed food, widely interpreted as a warning signal by the Modi government. Suspicion has risen that Yunus was fostering closer military ties with China, potentially at India's expense. Concerns have also arisen over Pakistan's ISI operating inside Bangladeshi networks to destabilize India's northeastern region. While Bangladesh attempted to assert leverage over India by referring to Northeast's geography, India's ability to strike back via Bangladesh's own choke points is now part of the open narrative. India's military dominance in the region means that in any serious conflict, Bangladesh's infrastructure would be far more vulnerable than India's Siliguri Corridor, especially if Chinese involvement escalates the situation. India's total domination of Pakistani airspace in just 72 hours during the recent conflict must send warning signals to Dhaka, even though Pakistan has been peddling fake news and propaganda of downing a couple of Indian fighter jets. Himanta Biswa Sarma is not just a state leader. He's increasingly become the BJP's sharpest voice on regional and cross-border security. His statement wasn't a casual warning. It was a strategic message to both Dhaka and Beijing. If Mohammad Yunus resigns, the question is whether his successor will pursue a more balanced and India-friendly approach or double down on China-centric posturing. Either way, the geography of South Asia has just become more militarized, and the battle of the chicken necks is now central to the unfolding India-Bangladesh-China chessboard. What do you believe? Will Yunus spoil India-Bangladesh ties forever before free and fair elections can be held in the country? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.